Hey everyone, and welcome back to Esther S T. I hope that you are doing exceedingly well. Thank you so much to my recent subscribers. You are very welcome on this channel. I'm really hoping that you are getting a lot of inspiration, insight, and more importantly, encouragement from the content that we provide for you. Now, without further ado, I want to discuss a topic that is very dear not only to my heart, but to everyone around us. And that is the beauty of moving forwards, knowing that your best days are ahead of you. Now, in order for you to understand and identify that your best days are ahead of you, it truly is in how you see yourself. We live in a generation where there's so much noise that there's not enough time to just sit down and be still. We have so much going on in our lives that it becomes so distracting. And there are moments where you need to be responsible for your environments. And you need to make sure that you can detach yourself from anything that is not adding value to your life. The world will say, because you're a certain age, you can't have this. You can't achieve that. We won't be able to do this for you. But when was the last time you actually believed in yourself, knowing that you can defy the odds? You know, there are many people right now who have already defied the odds, and we may not always know them. Perhaps they haven't been able to share it publicly, or they're just in awe that they've overcame what they thought was not possible. And I want us to focus on a story in the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verses 30 to 32, where it's entitled Exploring Canaan. And for some of us who may know, Caleb was a man of God. He was a man truly after God's own heart. And in a nutshell, he wanted to help his people to not only explore Canaan, but possess it. Now, in this life, whether you're a business owner, whether you're an employee, whether you're a stay-at-home mum, no matter what you do and your occupation, you need to believe that there is more for you. If you don't believe there is more for you, you will stay on the level you are in, and that will be your responsibility. When you hear people say it's not possible, you need to turn your mindset around to say it is possible. It might not be possible for the person that said it wasn't possible, but it can be possible for you if you speak it. We know that there is power in words, and we need to be exceedingly intentional about how we come across with our words, starting with our thoughts. So let's go to Numbers chapter 13, verses 30 to 32. And I'm reading the NIV version. It says, "Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, 'We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it.' But the men who had gone up with him said, 'We can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are.' And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, 'The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Anak from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them.'" Now I want to start off with verse 30. Caleb stated that not only was he able to encourage the people that they can move forwards, but he silenced the people. You know, there are moments in our lives where we need to silence the voices of others. And even if that's coming from ourselves as well, we need to silence those lies that speak to us and say, "Are you sure you're going to get that opportunity? Are you sure you're going to get that job? Are you sure you're going to get married? Are you sure you're going to have children? Are you sure you're going to get that business deal?" Because all these questions that are running through your mind will cause you to stay where you are. So he had to silence the people. In other words, he silenced them technically to do them a favor, because the people were speaking against themselves. So it's not people that speak against you, it's also your own words. He said here that they should go up and take possession of the land because they can certainly do it. Now, if you have someone in your life that is a confidant, if you have someone in your life that believes in you, that can see the potential more than you can see in yourself, you are favored. Do you know there are so many people right now who don't have friends to encourage them? There are so many people right now who have others that are draining them because they are good encouragers, but they don't have someone to encourage them. But I tell you, if you have good people in your life that can speak into you when you feel like you want to give up, please don't take that for granted. Because so many people right now are in need for that. We all need a friend like that. We all need a confidant like that. Every Jonathan needs a David. Now, what are you doing with the people who are feeding you? Or are you just taking from them and not applying the wisdom shared? In verse 31, it says, but the men who had gone up with him said, we can't attack those people. Imagine if Caleb was easily led by the people's opinion. Having someone who is so confident that they are able to achieve what they have declared is so important. Someone that is not swayed by anything, but they are so focused that because I said it, I will have it. That's what Caleb is. And those are the people that you need. But thank God, Caleb was not swayed by the people because they said they can't do it. And if you say you can't do it, let me respect you and have a boundary line. Because I don't want your disbelief to affect my belief. I don't want your negative aura to affect my faith. And that takes a lot of grace to set those boundaries, even with people that you love. Because as hard as it can be, we are all facing battles, whether we want to admit it or not, some bigger than others. And you have to be careful how you entertain those battles. You need to be accountable and responsible to how you respond to them, especially when people add to it. They're not helping. They're not saying, okay, you know what? Let's do this way. What can we achieve together? How can we solve this? All is, well, this is what life is. This is what the stats say. But what are you saying? They said here, we cannot attack these people. They are stronger than we are. How did the people know that they were stronger than them? Because they were feeding themselves with fear. And fear is the biggest contributing factor to stagnation. And fear, if not careful and not dealt with, can lead to jealousy and envy. Remember I spoke about jealousy and envy in my previous video? I'm going to link it in the description bar for you to watch. Jealousy starts with not knowing who you are. And when you see other people knowing who they are, you don't even know who you are. So eventually you start envying how they act. And it's not that they're deliberately provoking you, but you've just been blinded by your own feelings. And you haven't taken the time to humble yourself and ask, what can I learn from this person who is doing really well? So unfortunately, in verse 32, they said that they spread among the Israelites a bad report. So the people also impacted the Israelites. The Israelites were already in sin because they were going back and forth too much. But they impacted the Israelites more. Impacting a vulnerable person will not help. We know this already. If someone is already nervous, why are you causing them more panic? You're spreading a bad report to the Israelites about the land they had explored. Maybe the Israelites thought that the Canaanite land was potentially a good opportunity, and it was. But the people who were associating with themselves to Caleb said they shouldn't go. The land that we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. Why do you have a small mindset? Why don't you believe that more can be done? Why don't you trust in the one that made you and tells you who you are daily? And this is why being in God's presence is so important. When you have time, create space for God to speak to you. Know who you are in Him. Because the moment you know who you are in Him, what people will say that doesn't fit with you will go in one ear and come out of the other. And it's not to say that you disrespect those people. People are still human and God still loves everyone. But there are moments where you need to take captive of those negative thoughts and words spoken over your life. Whether you realize it or not, you can reject things in your head while people are speaking negatively. You can pray for them in your quiet time. Thankfully, Caleb was a person not only of morals, but he knew who he was. And knowing who you are means you need to be very audacious. Not pompous, not proud, not arrogant, but audacious, bold. Life is fleeting. We hear a lot of people talking about health, well-being. But how many of us are truly making the effort to do these things? Or are we just leaving it till tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and no one knows tomorrow? It's only by the grace of God that we are able to see a new day, let alone the next second that we have. The clock is ticking right here, and we're here. And what are we doing with our lives? Time is such a precious commodity. And not only that, if Caleb took the time to sit down and ask, you know what, should I help these people? I think I've done enough. I might need to set a limit now. That's why he was the only person that was able, apart from Joshua, he was the only person that was able to enter the land of Canaan, and the others didn't. Why? Because he was confident enough that he could. The vision that he had to see, that Canaan was right in front of him, he was able to do so. And in this time and season that we are in, no matter what is going on, even in the cost of living crisis, even the wars that are going on around our world, we need to still believe that it is possible to achieve our desires. As long as they are bringing glory to God, they will stand. I love Caleb's attitude. I love Caleb's character. I love his integrity, but more importantly, his resilience and the tenacity to keep believing. Do you know that your best days are ahead of you only when you start thinking in a way that God thinks about you? Only when you can start thinking on a higher level, you start attracting higher blessings. You can't think on a low level and expect a high result. You cannot expect to think right if you're dwelling on wrong things. You can't see results when you're so trapped in your own self of fear and limiting beliefs. And this is not to say that we're not acknowledging what one is going through. No. It's good to acknowledge when you feel defeated. It's good to acknowledge when you feel low. But don't stay there. And it takes strength for you to speak life into yourself when no one is around you. But sometimes we need to ask ourselves, why don't we have the right people around us? Is it because we are speaking negativity into our lives? Is it because we're not really trusting the process? Because when you trust the process, I really guarantee you that you will have the right people that can help you on your journey. I am not the Esther I am today on my own. I can think about the people that the Lord strategically placed in my life for set seasons to help me become who I am. And that's the reason why I wrote my book, The Becoming Woman, my 7th book, which I'm now doing monthly series per chapter. And another book I wrote in 2020 called The Power of a Forward-Thinking Mindset. These 2 books are all you need to become. The Power of a Forward-Thinking Mindset is one of our best-selling books. An opportunity to promote my books and my services, and The Power of a Forward-Thinking Mindset was sold. All of them. Because we know how important the mind is. And if you don't have a copy of The Power of a Forward-Thinking Mindset, I highly encourage you to grab your copy as soon as possible. This is not a book that you rush into. You need to get your signed copy on our website, authenticworth.com/books. And if you want to move forwards, study the book. Don't just read it once. Read it over and over and over again. Think about Caleb, a man of focus, a man of vision, a man of confidence. He wasn't moved by the fear of others. And that is the best place to be. Not being fearful of others, but being audacious. Knowing that you've got something to give to your community. Until you believe in what God has placed in you, until you believe that you can go farther, until you believe that you can truly see what you pray for come to pass, you will never really believe it can happen. It's up to you to make it happen by how you believe. And that's why without faith, it is impossible to please God. In order to make the one that can give you the best happy, you need to have faith in the one that can give it to you. It's as simple as that. And yes, we can say with our mouths we have faith, but then when the problems come, we fear, we worry, we tremble. And I'm not saying that these things are not real. Acknowledge the fear, but persevere through it. Your perception of how you see yourself impacts who you become and where you are going. Verse 33 says, we seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. And they didn't realize that they were more stronger than the people, but they thought that they were stronger than them. They thought that they are exactly in the same position of defeat. Let's just have a defeat party. And you wonder why you're in the same position, or you wonder why certain doors haven't opened. It's not other people. Sometimes it's your mouth. Sometimes it's your words. Sometimes it's your thoughts that cause you to remain. And I want to encourage you, as you're taking the time to listen to this video, challenge yourself. Ask yourself, what can I learn from my mistakes of fear? What can I learn from opening the door up to anxiety and worry? And how can I improve? We're coming into the middle of the year soon. These past 6 months should give you time to reflect on how the year has been so far and what you can do to maximize the remaining 6 months. And I really want you to take this seriously. So please, for your benefit, the power of a forward-thinking mindset is all you need to really think ahead and think well. This will never be something that anyone else can do for you. It is your responsibility. If Caleb was a man of indecisiveness and double-mindedness, he wouldn't have been able to even reach Canaan himself. But God saw that he was able to be faithful to the process, and therefore he reached his destination. The question is, are you going to reach yours? I really hope you will. Be encouraged by this video and encourage someone right now who needs to hear it, to listen to it again and again, because we all need encouragement. No matter what you do have or don't have, life will come with its challenges. We all need encouragement, and we all need a forward-thinking mindset. I really hope this video inspires you and encourages you to really provoke yourself to move ahead gradually and with grace. Until next time, I'll see you in the upcoming video. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.